Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Automotive Podcast where you don't build model cars, but it sure does help. We're here on episode 43, where our special guests tonight, down there, we were doing the pointing thing before we went on air here, are Eric and Larry Ritz, father and son combination. You probably recognize them if you go to, Midwest, East Coast model shows. I am on the road again. I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. Sean is currently filming an episode of Wild Kingdom by Omaha Mutual down there. And then James, I guess, is in his house. So it's been time since we were here last. I have literally been working like a crazy person. So that covers me for the duration, because I haven't even been home for basically 4 of the last 14 days. So I haven't done anything other than buy stuff. Mr. Tester, what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Trying to work on the TVR Tuscan for the gallery project, and I keep getting sidetracked by new prints. So this past weekend, I printed a new Nissan Sunny Hakutora. So Dirty Customs put out the new files, so I had to print it.
Had to.
Are you going to build it?
Well,
No.
Yeah, eventually.
Awesome.
Do you want one?
Absolutely. It's a truck, isn't it?
It is. You can't overland it. It's not made for overlanding.
It's not over fenders, Sean. Don't listen to him.
That's never stopped me from overlanding anything.
Let's say it's already got over fenders on it, Sean. I just roll with it,
Sweet. I'm very close to finishing up the 67 C10 short bed I've been building. It's almost done. I'll probably end up posting pictures of it before the next episode gets broadcast. And I recently did a whole bunch of photo backdrops. I posted some today on my Facebook account. I had a 50% off coupon that I printed through MPix. That they had a print deal going on. So I had done a bunch of artwork, and I was kind of ready and had it sort of waiting, and I was hoping for a discount. So I saw that. So going forward, you'll probably see some unique settings for some of the models. So I'm excited about that.
That's cool. I like the one myself. That's my favorite.
And I did a bunch of different versions of a Sven's World of Wheels logo. And I think I talked about this a couple episodes. So I've never had a logo of my own. And after I got to thinking about it, I was like, I don't think as a designer, I should never have a permanent logo. I should just always be creating a new one.
Right.
And so I've decided that's what I'm going to do. So going forward, you're going to see lots of different variations on Sven's World of Wheels logos.
That's cool.
All right.
Yeah,
that's me. That's what I'm going to.
It was good.
Thanks. I enjoyed making that one.
I'm partial to the warehouse background. I just think that the resolution of how that printed out came out real well. I think in a photo setting, it ends up looking pretty real in terms of the actual finished result of it.
I have to credit our buddy Stoke from Instagram, we did a podcast with. I was inspired by some of his photography, and I kind of studied some of what he was doing in some of his backdrops, and so I took some inspiration from that. I printed out 4, but I made artwork for 20, so you're going to see a lot of different variations. Wait for another coupon to get this printed. But that's me. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Larry.
Thank you.
Eric's also a designer.
Yep. Yeah, industrial designer in the trade show industry. I've been there for like 22 years now, which is crazy because I was actually an automotive designer out of school and somehow got suckered into that world. So I always joke that I just wanted to draw cars, and I don't know how I got here, but it I spent last week in Boston setting up a show. I spent a couple weeks in Chicago, and I think I'm done until SEMA, but I'll probably be out at SEMA setting up some booths and enjoying the fun of that. So it's a fun
Well, that
career.
sounds awesome. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. So we've got a couple hours.
Okay.
We're going to dive in. We're going to learn more about Eric and Larry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, say Eric, since we just sort of went around the room with what everybody's doing, what do you have? What are you and your dad working on right now?
Mostly right now, we've been working on the full scale stuff. So we put a 438 welded rear end into our race car. So we have that the 68 BRE tribute car that we took out to California last year, and been doing some upgrades on that. And my 240, my LS swap 240Z, I did grenaded axles last year, so I'm replacing axles and also the full wiring harness and ECU and all that stuff, and switched to a cool new digital dash that I can actually do all my own layouts of. So that makes it kind of rewarding for me and lots of fun. So trying to think, what else have you been up to? That's pretty much it, right?
Just getting all the
getting the full scale stuff going
for the summer season.
I kind of peter out after NNL East. So, but I actually did complete 2 things this year for the first time in a long time. So, yeah.
Say, sorry, Sean. I believe the one of the NNL East projects ended up winning theme, did it not? Yes.
Yeah, it was the 63 Ford unibody that I converted to a short bed, and it was kind of one of those paint experiment projects that kind of went good. I wanted to use the Tropical Glitz paint. It was my first time using it. I was talking to Manny last year, and I definitely wanted to experiment with it. And after I started on it, I realized it was a 63, and I'm like, oh, I can knock this out and actually put it in the theme category, and it worked out really well, and everybody seemed to love it. So that made me happy. So it was definitely something I built my own way. I have kind of a weird style with 60s customs, and it seems like stuff everybody likes. And that makes me happy because it's what I want to build. So that works out well.
I know that I took pictures of it, but I can't exactly remember I know it's kind of like, it was a pearl white and it had panels, like
it's
multicolored
it's
panels in it.
Here, hold on. I'll go grab it.
Okay.
I was like, we're going to appreciate how deep Eric's basement is. Jeez. Let us know if you need help, Eric.
Is that a refrigerator he keeps those in? I can't tell.
You got to keep them nice and cool in there. I haven't got my show. I moved in 2020, and I've yet to get my showcases with all my completed work here. So
Out of my house.
Everything lives in Dad's house except for the more recent stuff I finished. So, but yeah, it's a teal.
Okay.
Custom with scallops and custom. I did the grill myself, 3D modeled it and printed. Also the bumperettes and the rear bumper. I modeled the Chrysler. I think it was a DeSoto steering wheel. It was like the oblong one, the real 60s retro funky DeSoto wheel. Modeled that myself and printed it. And then for some reason, I like doing rolled and pleated interiors because my real car has a rolled and pleated interior. So I spent hours with 60 thousandths half round laying out each individual pleat and then doing the piping and all the good stuff there. So.
Time well spent.
Sounds like a
Spent a lot
simple
of time on the
weekend build.
chassis too.
We don't want to talk about the chassis. Were you guys around when I won the award and everybody gave me a hard time about the chassis?
Nice.
Wow.
Hey, as long as it looks good on the shelf.
Fun, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a good one. Last thing you completed was the BRE hauler, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we did it last year for the team thing. You did the 143rd scale version of the BRE hauler that has all 3 of the BRE Datsuns in the 3 different liveries, and then a replica of the actual hauler that Peter had back in the day.
That's amazing. I remember seeing it at NNL last year. It was really
Yeah, we took
nice.
it out there last year to California, and the whole team and John Morton and Peter all signed the roof of the trailer. So it's got their signatures on the top of it now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. It was the remaining members of the original team. So it was very neat.
Wow. So let's dive into that a little bit. Since you brought up BREs, I know you guys have a unique connection to BRE Datsuns. So how did you start from the beginning? Tell us like how you got involved with that, and what was your inspiration, and what's your history with that car. And
Yeah. I'll start it out because I was the one who was out there. So what was it? What birthday was it? It's been years ago now, but
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if we want to go all the way back, I bought a brand new 69 Mustang when I graduated high school, and I was a Ford freak and Parnelli Jones and Trans Am, and I went to the 71 Trans Am at Mid-Ohio to be excited about watching Parnelli whoop on everybody with his Mustang. And then the under 2 liter, under 2.5 group, there was this little red, white, and blue Datsun 510 going around, and he whooped on everybody. And I said, boy, I really like that car. So like the next year after that, we bought a brand new one, and that eventually ended up being my race car. But then since then, I've had 51 510s. I still have 3 over the years, but that just started the whole. And my brother went to work at a Datsun dealer, and it just, we've been into those cars, like I said, since 71, 72, 73.
Larry, I think I heard you wrong. Did I hear you say you had 51?
I've had 51 of them so far. Yeah, and I got to get.
You don't want any more because 51's the perfect number of 510s. They're all going to end up being mine.
And I was born in 51, and
raced his number when he raced was 51. So
yeah. And I still have parts probably from all of those cars in my barn and my shed, and
we have a few cars left in parts.
Yeah, we could build a couple more if we had shells.
So the Ritzs have the honey hole of 510 parts in there.
We're kind of the East Coast 510. I mean, I think that's pretty safe to say. There's a lot of guys on the West Coast, but they didn't last very long around here. So,
wow. Anyway, getting back to your original question about how we got hooked up with Peter Brock, I'll let Eric continue on with his story now.
I can't remember what birthday it was.
It was my 65th birthday.
65th birthday?
Yeah.
I happened to be in Vegas for a trade show while Dad's birthday was going on, and I wanted to do something special. So I looked up, and I didn't realize Brock's shop was right outside of Vegas in Henderson. So if you're ever in Vegas and you want to go visit, they have a nice little store with all the stuff from the Cobra Coupe and also the 510 stuff. But I went over there and I called ahead and see if Peter would be there, and I FaceTimed Dad for his 65th birthday, and he was beside himself. This was his hero from back in the 70s, and the guy that got him into, had something to do with getting him into racing, and it was great. And then I instantly felt guilty because we hung up, and I spent 2.5 hours in the shop going through his design studio with him, showing me all of his car collection, showing me every little bit of everything. And I shared with him that Dad was building a car that was, a GT, it was more of a vintage 510
B sedan car.
And Peter looked at me and said, you should do the 68 car. Nobody's ever done that before. And they have a fully licensed tribute program. Well, they'll help you out with a lot of the graphics and the numbers and everything, and give you all the stuff to create, and they'll work with you on the paint codes and everything else. If you apply and get accepted for this tribute program. So of course we did that. And then we ended up taking a car that was supposed to be a race car, track car, and building it basically into a giant model car, that I don't know if we can, we've taken it on the track once and broke an air dam and messed some stuff up, and then we're like, we don't know why we built this car. We should have built something that was like matte painted that we could go actually thrash on. But it's been a fun car, and it's been a very fun developing the relationship with them. I mean, Peter gave us all the paint codes for the correct blue. I worked out getting paint masks instead of vinyl numbers because all of the graphics on our car is all done in paint. And it was fun. And then the stuff that wasn't completely correct, I went into photos and blew up and scaled and traced in vector and made my own dead on exact duplicates of the way the side of the BRE was on the side, and a couple little graphics and stuff. So it was a fun, like I said, it was a model car project. It just happened to be full scale.
That's amazing.
So fun.
Yeah. And I know that's the blue. Is it number 68?
Yeah, it was the guest car, which was 72, right? 72 was the last season they ran. They needed another car to help compete for the championship and, you know, have numbers. So they had the red, the John Morton car, the stereo, or the
46
typical,
car, yeah,
the
the
one
red, white, and
everybody
blue
knows. There was the blue version of that, which was the Mike Downs, and then later the Bobby Allison car. And then they had this guest car that they would have just local hot shoes that were track guys, but it ended up getting driven by Bobby Allison, Peter Gregg. Who else was there? There was a bunch of,
local guys too.
yeah, and whoever was local in the area. And it actually won. Peter Gregg won like the first
2 races in 72.
yeah, first 2 races in that car and beat John
Glen.
Morton in it. So, but it's just an interesting story. And like I said, it's just interesting to get and talk to them and hear the history of it. And the actual car ended up getting sold to South America. And Peter and John went down to go over with it with the new driver and then kind of show them through everything. And it won, according to Peter, it won every race it was in, and then was disqualified, and then was later crushed, you know, years later when it wasn't a valid car anymore. So that one, as far as I know, will never come back. So, you know, Adam Nissan owns the 46 car. Adam Carolla owns the 85 car. And we have, I think, the closest replica of the 68 cars. So that's why last year for the 60th anniversary of BRE, they invited us to come out to Long Beach, California with them and have our car in the car corral with all the officially licensed BREs and the original BRE cars. So that was quite an honor and a lot of fun. And Dad and I got to road trip across America for the first time.
Wow.
First and only time. So
that sounds like a super fun adventure.
It was
an adventure.
It was an adventure. The issue was I before this came about, I leased a Dodge Ram with a V6, thinking the biggest thing I'm ever going to tow is a 2,000-pound car and an open trailer. And we decided we needed an enclosed trailer. So we rented that, and it was a extra tall, high top, horribly anti-aerodynamic trailer. And I was thinking we were going to get like 15 miles a gallon, and I was very, 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 very wrong. And I think we were averaging about 120 miles a tank across America, 3,200 miles.
6 to 8 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Wow.
We spent a lot of time at gas stations. About every hour, we'd stop, and about an hour and a half, we'd stop and switch off drivers and fill up the tank. And I'm glad it was last year and not this year, because it would have been about double the price. And so it was worth it. It was a lot of fun, and we met him in Vegas, and Peter and Gail took us out to lunch, and we hung out and took the car to the shop so he could see it, and then spent the whole day with them at the show, helped them work their merch tent because it was a madhouse and they were overwhelmed. It was just basically Peter and Gail and Devin, the guy that works in the shop there with him, and it was an amazing opportunity just to hang out and spend time with somebody who's an automotive design legend and also a racing legend by far. So it was very cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
what an adventure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
How did you get into road racing?
Well, I bought the Mustang. And I joined Akron Sports Car Club, and they did autocrossing and some track days at like Nelson Ledges and stuff. And I started doing that, and it got to the point that I wanted to actual race. And the guy I helped, Reed Kreider, the guy I helped to build his first race car, which was a 240Z, and I crewed for him for a couple of years. And he knew I wanted to go racing real bad. He loaned me his car to take to driver's school and get my professional license. And that was a mistake because then it lasted 25 years racing. But that's, back when you could afford it. That's how it just went from autocrossing to doing track days and got into actual SCCA road racing.
And I know you guys have a wagon, a 510 wagon too. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, you know the numbers on that one. I can't remember.
My brother worked at a Nissan dealer, and this was like in 78, I think. This poor little young lady from West Virginia had this wagon, and they were just killing her with starters and carburetors and stuff. And she finally got to the point and said, I can't afford this. I got to buy a newer car. So she traded it in at the dealer, and we bought it from the dealer in 78. and we still have it. It had 100,000 miles on it when we bought it. It's got 280 some thousand on it now. Now, not everything's got 280,000 miles on it, but
You've rebuilt everything on that car.
yeah, it's been redone 4 or 5 times, and it had a vinyl top on it when I bought it the first time, and then we took that off and painted it again, and did engine swaps and transmission swaps and suspension swaps, and but then having a designer for a son, he came. I don't know what started it, but he said, it'd really be cool to make a surf wagon, have a surfboard on top and do the BRE livery on the side. And that was 2 years ago.
We did that after the
3 years
68
ago.
car. So yeah.
So it's a surf wagon with a surfboard on top and wood grain, bamboo and bamboo interior. And it's been in the family, like I said, since '78.
And I know I've seen pictures of all these cars. Since we didn't get a chance to, I don't think, collect pictures from you, or we'd be sharing them probably. If you're interested in seeing what these cars look like, you can go to Eric's probably Instagram account, right? I'm imagining.
Yeah, it's at impalow 66. So IMPALOW 66. I think. Let me double check that.
Yeah,
I should know this, huh? Yeah.
It's linked in the description of this video. So
all right, cool. Yeah. Sometimes I put the 66 before the impalo, depending on who, and so it's the after. So yeah, 66 at the end.
Okay, so you mentioned Impalas. So now we got to talk about Impalas, because I know you, in addition to Datsuns, you've also got a really cool Impala. So tell us a story about that car.
That car is a pretty cool story. I bought that in '97, my junior year of high school, for $2,500 from a friend of ours, and it was a very, very nice car, and I'm very thankful he gave me a very good deal on it. I took it to prom. I worked an apprenticeship at a local upholstery shop, so I do little bits and pieces with the owner of the shop when we were slow and had time. So I put a white tuck and roll and dashboard in it, and rear shelf and headliner, and then slowly got one seat at a time when I had time. While I was working and going to school. I've had it ever since. So it's almost 30 years now I've owned the car, and put air ride on it. It's like a candy blue. The sides have been repainted. I shaved the door handles, shaved the emblems, shaved the trunk. It's a 2-door hardtop, 283 power glide car. It's the slowest thing you've ever driven anywhere in your life. I think I ran, what I do? We raced that in your Oldsmobile once.
No, I've hit.
It was a 53
my
Chevy?
53 Chevy, and it was, I think I did it 21 something and you did it 19 something.
Yeah, it had like 65 miles an hour. It was a very, very fast car. Hard to handle, but it is a whole lot of fun. And like I said, I've just been randomly doing the interior, and it's done for now. Although I want to redo the door panels, and there's some audio stuff I'd like to do as technology upgrades. It's had like 40 different radios in it over, since I bought it when I was 17. So it's a fun little car. I haven't even got it out yet this year, but it's a lot of fun.
And then I know you mentioned it before. You built a really amazing 240Z.
Yeah,
tell us that story.
That's another one that a friend of Dad's started building that car, but he lived in Cleveland. He didn't have a whole lot of space to build it, so he asked Dad if he could use his garage, and that was 2008, 2009, I'd say. And he would come down on the weekends. So he bought a 73 Datsun 240Z shell off eBay, had it shipped to Dad's house. It had a bunch of interior parts we kind of sold off. He sourced an engine out of a 2006 Pontiac GTO, T56 6-speed transmission. He figured out the whole rear end at the time. That time it was the early age of LS swaps, so a lot of this stuff was really fresh, and there wasn't kits. And he was going through different websites, finding different bracketry and different accessories. He got it working. It was a fully running car in primer. He drove it a couple times. He suddenly realized he lived in Cleveland and there was no real place to drive it. And it sat in his garage for a couple of years. And he called Dad and I and said, "Hey, do you guys want this thing before I sell it to anybody else?" I was in no position to buy it. but I bought it. And so I bought it. I drove it. I probably put more miles on. I put about 300 or 400 miles on it in 2 months because I bought it in the fall. So I got 2 months of driving it, and we pulled it in the garage and stripped it down to a bare shell and started again with all the fabrication and sent the shell out to a friend of ours to have the shell painted white. Added a couple roll cage bars, but it's got a really elaborate roll cage in it for chassis stiffness. It's by far the trickiest car I've ever owned. Willwood brakes and just everything on it is insanely trick. So we got it. I got it done. I got it painted white during the COVID time. I actually moved back in with Dad, and we worked on it together for 2 or 3 months and actually got the car back together. Steve Goldman, which from round 2 and also in our car club, he painted all of the non-shell parts, so the fenders, the doors, and everything. He was working at a body shop at the time. We were taking him piece by piece, and he helped us out with that. And got the thing back together and applied for it to be a feature vehicle at SEMA in 2020. Got accepted, got placement in the mother's booth. So it was ready to go. I just had to figure out transportation to get it out there, and I was going to pull some strings and do it. And then the show didn't happen. So I ended up doing the virtual SEMA, and it won top 10 sport compact in that show and top 40 overall. So, and it was cool. I got beat up by Chip Foose in that Jaguar, which I don't think is a sport compact, but I don't want to have a beef with Chip. But
he doesn't like school anyways.
Yeah. But it's been a door opening car. So through all that, I got into the SEMA social media correspondent program. So I'm one of their curated content creators through them, and I get to go and I have appointments when I go to the show with different brands that want to meet with you and products and product development. And it got featured at the SEMA garage in Detroit. I got to take it up there, and it's just been an awesome door opening experience just having that vehicle and the fabrication. Oh, and it was on the Summit Racing catalog cover. It was in the trifold of Summit along with the Impala. There's a little blurb of the Impala in there too, so it was kind of neat. They got to take both of them into a studio and get photos.
That's amazing. I know I've seen both cars, and so there's such a diverse, I know you for like these kind of wild 60s era kind of customs, but then also this like road racing. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to reconcile the two in my head. Like, what's the common denominator?
There's a little story. Yeah, there's a little story about that. So, Dad raced until '93, right? So I grew up. I was a track brat. I was literally running around the racetrack. I was in everybody's pit stall. We knew everybody locally, and I literally grew up at a racetrack. I was there when I was 2 months old, 3 months old.
You were at an autocross when you were 2 months old.
Yeah. So I grew up into it, and in '93. It kind of got to the point where it was getting very expensive and fixing cars every week. And then I understand, I was 13 at the time, and Dad decided that we were going to get rid of all the race cars and get custom cars. So the race cars all went away, and Dad bought a 1953 Oldsmobile lead sled, and then we started working on that. And then from there I bought my Impala. And then, so we have this like underlying road race thing going on at the same time of building these, building custom cars, which is probably why our road race cars have become so shiny. We can't do anything with them.
And do you have any other interesting cars, full scale?
The Neon.
Besides those?
Well, I'll mention the Mustang again. I bought it when I was 17. $2,700 out the door for a coupe Mustang, and I kept it until I was needing to buy race tires a lot for the Datsun 510. So, and the Mustang had just sat in the garage for years. So I sold it in '84, had 42,000 miles on it. Sold it to some guy in Copley, Ohio. Didn't for 20 plus years and didn't know what happened to it. Didn't hear anything about it. Never seen the car again. I was going to a car show with my Oldsmobile in Rittman. I was backing into a parking spot, and I seen this Mustang go down the street. And of course, I bought it when I was 17, so it has Shelby side scoops, Shelby taillights, and all stuff that I did to the car when I was young. And I said, I swore it was my car, but I went home and told these guys, my wife and Eric, and they said, "Oh, it can't be your car." Well, long story short, we found the car it just found me in 2009. And of course, I taught my wife how to drive in that car when we were teenagers. She knew, driver standard shift. We took it on our honeymoon. It was a long story. It's got all kind of stories in that car. But anyway, long story. In 2010 or 2009, I found the car. In 2010, I bought it back. Not from the guy I've sold it to, but another guy. And in 26 years, it had 9,000 miles put on it in 26 years. And I've had it now back since we bought it back in 2010, and I've had it since 2010, and it's got 60,000 miles on it. But of course, when I got it back, Eric was this influencer guy.
We had adult money.
Yeah, and we'd have these meetings with these guys, and they said, "Well, what kind of cars you got?" And we got Datsuns. Well, we don't make any with Datsuns. What else you got? Well, then he mentioned 66 Chevrolets and 69 Mustangs. We got Tremec 5-speeds. We got coil-over suspension, power steering for the Mustang, and But anyway, I still have that car, so it's sort of an interesting story, and it's
a cool car. It's original paint,
it's all original paint. It was and all the dents that were in it when I sold it were the same dents. Nobody had anything done. So that's interesting. I have a 53 Chevy 2-door hardtop, 6-cylinder 3-speed that belonged to Eric's grandfather, my dad, and I have that car also. American.
That's amazing.
So we have some American cars too.
That's and a Datsun 620 truck.
And 620 truck.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a 620 truck? I don't think I've seen the 620 truck.
We did it up. I did some faux patina stuff on it and did like a fake shop truck. So it's a cool little truck. It used to be my favorite out of the collection, but I think now the wagon and then the 620 truck. But yeah, if I had to steal one of Dad's cars, it's going to be one of those two.
That's amazing. I was going to say we have a connection because I think at one point in time we both owned blue Dodge Neons.
Oh yeah, then there's a Neon story.
Yeah, I do have the 90. I do have the 95 Neon. That's kind of my autocross car. It's a faux ACR, but it's made out to be an ACR, a little coupe, and put slicks on it and take it out to. It's become more of my race car than anything else, but it's still dry. It's still streetable. It's a lot of fun, and it's very weird to me. The Neon connection through the model car community is interesting because like Ryan Kaiser from I knew him and I we were the OG Neon guys on the forums back in the day, and we had a Forza racing tournament on 2 Wednesday nights, and that's been 20 years ago. Ryan and I were racing each other, and then now I go to shows and see him, and there's a couple other guys that had similar stories, and it's like maybe there's something to these Neon guys.
I think we're just all weird.
Well, that was always kind of the case.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, Larry, start with about the model cars. Did you and your dad build model cars when you were young?
As soon as he got his first set of blocks, we were building stuff. I mean, we built models. I built models when I was young, of course, when I was young. And then, of course, I got into real cars and that all went away. And then when he came along and got old to build model cars, that's when we got back into it. And we met up with Andy and it was 2014 or something.
I think kind of like everybody else. Like I was building a lot in my teens, and then once I got my license and things, I got the Impala. At 17, I started building real cars and stopped messing around. And then we have a friend, my friend Andy, who is a friend through a friend through a friend. I didn't realize he was in the cars, and he was going up to Toledo once, and he wanted to know if somebody wanted to ride with him. And I was like, I remember seeing Toledo in the magazines when I was a kid. Yeah, I'd love to go with you. And I went up there, and then we got Dad to go, to the next show. We started going to Detroit, and that was in 2015. I think 2014, we got back into it. And so that brought us almost full circle back to building stuff. And it's been awesome, to be honest. It's a great relief for, I don't know, stress, frustration relief or whatever. Because at work, trade show industry, I'm designing for everybody else all the time. I got to design in other people's styles. And this, I can just kind of do whatever I want. If I want to build a big game, I don't have a whole lot of time for it, but it's very relaxing for me to sit and actually have, full creative control, and not doing things for other people's approval, just my own. It's kind of nice.
But looking at your model cars, you would never think relaxing.
Well, I got something wrong with me too, but yeah.
James, I wish you could share pictures of Eric's models right about now.
I wish I could too, but being on my phone, I don't even have that option. So,
oh well. Oh well, some other time.
Like,
I say,
Yeah,
Mr. Tester, you share. You're the one with the actual computer.
definitely
That
go
would take me a
to
minute.
Eric's Instagram page and check it out. He's got a lot of cool stuff if you're ever not familiar with him. I'm trying to think back on some of the iconic models you've built that stick in my memory. I think the first one comes to mind is the Cuda, the gray Cuda.
Yeah, that was
Tell us about that one. Do you happen to have it? Do you have it like floating around in there?
No, it's in my house.
It's at Dad's house. That's in
Oh,
the
okay.
case is at Dad's house.
Yeah, it's in my house.
But yeah, that was kind of like the first intro to 3D printing for me. I got all excited because I 3D model for a living, so I know how to do the 3D modeling part to an extent. I can't do complex shapes, but I can do a Dodge Neon engine, put it that way. So I was able to model one in my computer, and then I started noticing these little tabletop FDM 3D printers, and I said, well, I'm gonna pull the trigger on one of these and see if I can make model car parts. And it was an epic fail. I did get the block, I think, but I did so much handwork. It would have been better off just whittling it out of a piece of styrene. But it does have a 3D printed engine in 2015 on an FDM printer in that CUDA. But then, of course, every other piece on it was hand turned or hand fabricated. And the turbo, I think, was made out of a slot car pinion. And, it was a lot of old school modeling techniques there. But yeah, it was a gray 70 CUDA with flares, with a Dodge Neon SRT4 turbo engine in it with like a side exit exhaust, SRT seats. It's like a gray pearl with a matte black hood, and it kind of had a factory vibe at the time. I did the blue wheels with the gray and blue, and it was a lot of fun. That was a Buckeye Classic build for the Columbus show, and that at that time Andy was still in the hobby, so we'd challenge each other every year. So you built like a lead sled CUDA. It was gloss black with red.
It was like a 50s custom.
Yeah, like a 50s custom, gloss black, red wheels, checkerboard interior,
whites.
Black and white checkerboard firewall. And then Andy built a really wild purple gasser CUDA that I almost, and so all three of us, we'd build something for that every year, and it was fun. It was kind of fun, friendly, friendly goofing around. I feel like I had a ton of time back then. I don't know where it all went, but and then that kind of turned into the Columbus thing for me. I just used that as a deadline to build something. So I think the following year was the Model A, which was the Burgundy Model A Streamliner, which is probably in my opinion, that's probably one of the more well-known versions of something I've built. Which that's the Burgundy. It's like a Streamliner with fender pods and full burl walnut interior and leather, and it had an extended hood, and I used the straight 8 or straight. I think it was a straight 8. It's the two Offenhauser engines put together. I did a ton of research on it, and I knew a lot about it when I built it, but that's been a long time ago. But it had the front mount supercharger, and that was from that Etzel's Scale Classics is where that engine was from. It had a lot of nice white metal parts. I used the RD Motion spark plugs, and I didn't want to put boots on them, so I actually wrapped around the top of it with a little brass wire with a little PA. That one was nuts. But that was a really fun one, and that actually won the Buckeye Classic, and then went on to win Best of Show at Toledo, Detroit, and East. So that's probably one of my most renowned model. But yeah, the Triple Crown, I guess. I think that's right. Somebody called it that. I don't think that's real, but we'll go with it.
Roll with it.
So then next year was Comet?
Yeah, next year was my pink Comet. So again, all of these, I think, and this is from the beginning, is what is everybody else going to build? And then what do I build that's drastically different? So the Model A, I knew everyone was going to be building street rods. So I built like a 30 Streamliner coach built, car. The Comet, I just figured everyone was going to be doing street machines and, pro street stuff. So I went full 60 show rod and pie cut the Comet. So it was about this wide at the front and full width at the back, and bubble topped it. I used the bubble top off, I think, the Beatnik Bandit. Did my own custom interior, and it had dual 429s with dual blowers, which is the dumbest thing you could possibly do because I had to wire a lot of stuff and plumb a lot of stuff. But it was like almost like a front engine dragster with a Comet body with a bubble top, and it was that one was pretty wild too. But that had all scratch built chassis. It was all chromed. I don't have that one here either. That one's at your house also. But posable steering, and I used the front wheels off like the Mysterion, I think, and it was neat. I do love show rod builds. I like to build model cars that I would never want to actually own or drive. So I do a lot of gassers and weird 60s stuff that drives like absolute crap, and but they look cool and they're fun to look at in the box. So
the other one that comes to mind is the one you built from a 63 Impala.
Yeah, that was for East during the COVID time. So I think that I built that for like 2019 and it didn't happen, or 2020 and it didn't happen. But that was the web theme. That's the new 63 Impala kit that has the asymmetrical front end. And that actually was a club guys giving me a hard time going, if you can make anything that looks decent out of that front end and back end, I'll give you $10 or whatever. And I took on the challenge and started hacking up the 63 Impala until it became that. It's like a 6-wheel hauler with a long dragster on the front. That one was on the cover of Model Cars magazine. And that was pretty cool. That was the first time I had that, but that one's here. I do have that one here.
You do have that one?
I do have that one.
Yeah, we got to get a look at this one. This thing is crazy. Like, you wouldn't know it ever came from a 63 Impala when you see it. Yeah. I looked at that and was like, what is that? And I'm pretty good at like picking out like the origin of certain cars, but that one had me stumped. I don't know that there's nothing on there that I sort of recognize as a 63 Impala anymore.
Don't drop it.
No, drop it. I just don't want to run over a cat. All right. So yeah, here's so yeah, the roof line that's pretty much all stock 63. The front is that asymmetrical piece. The back is also the asymmetrical piece, but I have this pivoted up, and then it does have, but it's too much of a pain to turn on. It does have full working lights, so the front headlight is a full color bar, and then it's a 3-passenger, if you can see inside, with a record player. And I actually used my Cricut cutter to make the records myself. So I just set it to a real low blade thickness and kind of did the concentric circles and then did the outside cut. So I did, and of course I had to research what was clear red, clear blue, and clear yellow records and put the correct labels on them because I have problems. But then I also did like a 60s style heads up display. So again, I used the Cricut cutter to cut clear acrylic, and then there's a little flickering light that's inside there that shines up on the inside so you can see the inside of the heads up display. And it's got controls like a 0-turn mower that are little pegs in there. And the seats are from the kit also. Those are like one of the 4 parts I used from the actual kit. But it was a lot of fun, and the paint was the paint. So this whole build, I think, was a challenge for me to see if I could pull off this paint because it was in my head and I did not know if I could actually do it. And so each one of those is an individual mask that's ghosted around the outside with black. Actually, it was black Tamiya enamel thinned with lacquer thinner, or the little bottles, and then over top of that, let me reverse way back. It's my own mix of metal flake base that's 0.002 and 0.004 metal flake over silver, then cleared, then sanded, then I did that pattern that I was talking about with the individual masks, and then after that I backmasked and painted the candy red, and then after that I did the color candies down the side, which that's all splash paints. That's their line of candies, and then of course I had to make the dragster match perfectly to make sure everything looks good when it's all loaded up there. But
yeah, that thing's totally insane. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
And
one of the most crazy builds I've ever seen, for sure.
The engine, which you can kind of see here, the engines, it's got dual Corvair engines, with like Hilborn injection, and then I used the diesel train photo etched grills off the top of diesel trains for the fans on top of the Corvair engines, and then I did like a warehouse pulley system where they each connect to each other and then go down, and it's got dual quick changes, and the battery cover's off, so you can see the battery inside for the lights. But
Yeah.
That's totally a wow. What kind of drugs are you guys taking over there?
I
Just,
just a little extra creativity.
man, that is
Thank you.
that is a bevy of creativity and inspiration there for sure. It's amazing. What is the dragster that you build? Is that
This was okay. So this was actually really fun, and I'd never have probably given it enough credit. But this is a curbside dragster, because all the dragsters always have the body panels that come off and everything. So I literally built it like a ship in a bottle. So everything enters through the engine hole. So I chromed the entire chassis and then slid it in, and then when I put the axle through it, it held it in place. And then the engine went in and snapped in on top of that. But I think it's a short. Hold on, where's the box? Young American. It was the Young American dragster that I shortened up just to make it fit the hauler. But then I scratch built the entire back cowl to make it look more like a 60s, and I did my own parachute out of that was chocolate wrappers. Yeah, and then made the interior match, and then the three. Of course, I had to put a 348 in it because out of the 63 kit. Not that this one's out of that, but I felt appropriate. And then hand laced my own wire wheels, and it's got posable steering and the whole bit.
Oh man, I didn't realize that you had hand laced wire wheels and posable steering and all that.
Yeah, I tried it. This is my first time doing the hand laced wire wheels, but there was a cool tutorial, and I was able to print out basic. You put nails in a board and a certain type and go from one to the other. And it was way easier than I expected it to be. I was worried I was going to be pulling my hair out for days.
That's amazing. I've seen that. I know I've seen it, but I've probably been so distracted by like the hauler that I probably never looked that close at the dragster, but there's an amazing amount of work in the dragster itself.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and it was so stinking small. It was kind of neat.
That's super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it was that one was a fun one, but of course that was supposed to be a 6-month build that lasted like 4 years. But it did win the theme in NNL East like 3 years later, so it isn't really fair. I stretched it out. I kept adding more stuff because it was just active on the bench. So.
Yeah, that thing has taken a ton of trophies home.
Yeah.
Now, what I think is fun is that Larry brings home just as much hardware as you do, Eric.
Oh, he does. Yeah,
he does.
I build the weird stuff, but I think overall, Dad's a better model builder. Like his cleaner, nicer stuff. I just tend to do weirder stuff, which I get that. That's my niche. I'm good with it.
Larry, do you have any of your models floating around? You can share?
No, not at my house, yeah. But yeah, no, there's nothing here.
No.
One of these days, I think I would like to come out and film.
My Daytona, I was really happy to my Golf Daytona with the slant 6 twin turbo. I built that for the
Buckeye,
but I didn't win. That's some more guy.
Didn't you win?
I got best of show.
Oh, you got best of show. Yeah. Well, yeah, I won 3 years straight on the Buckeye Classic, which is they pick a kit and you got a year to build it any way you want, and then you won a couple though. Because both of our names are all over that trophy.
Yeah. My Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
The Oldsmobile Cutlass. Yeah. Trans Am car.
That was a wide body, like 85 Cutlass with.
Yeah. Because that's
black and silver.
I've seen that.
Yeah. I was there. That I think I might be. Was that 2019 or 2020?
Hey, it's all
19, I think.
Yeah. I'd say it was one of the last ones that I got a chance to go to before COVID wiped it out, and then I've been busy on those weekends since then.
Yeah. What was your inspiration to build that car? The wide body Cutlass.
I think it was a similar thing. Like, what was everybody else going to do?
Yeah, I didn't think anybody would build a road race car. They'd be dragsters or customs or low riders when I did, and that Mustang, the Trans Am Mustang, I don't know who that is.
It was like a monogram that 86 or no 80s, the 80s Mustang, like the Capri, the GTU, whatever that car was.
The bodywork on the flares and everything fit on that Oldsmobile so well. It looked like it was a regular kit, and it just all fit together so well. And that was part of the reason I did that too. But
yeah, I do remember seeing that. I agree with Mr. Tester. We need to do he needs to do a video tour of your guys's stash and collection.
Yeah, we could.
Both your
I'd love to.
Model
we could get all the
cars
stuff
and
at one spot.
full-size
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Mhm.
I'd be up for watching that. Eric, tell me about, how did you become a designer?
Let's see. High school, I was really artistic. My mom's really artistic. Dad's more artistic than he lets on. Dad's really good at fabrication and thinking outside the box. And I kind of grew up in that, that atmosphere. And I was decent at fine arts in high school, and I didn't know what else I wanted to do. So, and I knew I liked cars, so automotive design seemed like the way to go. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, which was, and has a reputation for sure that isn't great, but I got a decent education from them. My instructor went to school with Chip Foose for the automotive side of it, and there was hardly anybody else in the automotive that wanted to go in automotive design. So him and I kind of became friends. There's a cat fight going on behind me. Guys, break it up. Anyway, so I became kind of good friends with him, and he kind of took me under his wing, and we worked on some projects together. I got into doing a lot of like clay modeling, doing a lot of like quarter scale prototype models, vehicles, and full sketching. And he was into 3-wheel vehicles, so I did a bunch of 3-wheel vehicle stuff, and it was still fun. It was great, but it was like professional model building, right? So I'm doing prototypes and getting some pretty good instruction on it. And then, like I said, from there, I did well at product design also. I mean, I competed in that area, but I was just, a gearhead. I just wanted to play with cars all day. And was coming back. Getting out of school, my goal was I was going to open an upholstery shop because I had done that apprenticeship and I could do the sketching and the ideation. And my idea was to be like the Chip Foose of automotive interiors. And that's how I was going to go. And this is like 2004. And that's when I got the call from the trade show company, which is literally 5 minutes from Dad's house where I grew up. And they needed a designer, and I went in, and now I've been there 22 years, and I get to go to the SEMA show every year, and I get to do that. And I've got money to make my own stuff, and I get the model car stuff to make things, build things faster that don't require quite as much money than as the real ones. So it works out real nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know that we've had similar backgrounds and have gone through kind of a similar sort of progression in our careers as industrial designers. I'm curious to know how do you translate your industrial design skills into model building?
I think it's kind of that thinking out of the box thing where I'm always just looking for a different way to do something. And then when I tend to get bored with projects, it's when I run out of new things. When I have to start doing something I've done before, I get like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to start something new again. And I think it's just that brain, whatever is going on in the design brain that is just constantly looking for something new and working. But I still do a ton of sketches. I do a lot of Photoshop mock-ups before I even start on stuff. I've got Photoshop mock-ups for things that aren't coming out that I'm not going to have time to build for years, but I still do it. And now with technology, having the iPad that you can just sketch on, anywhere you want on an airplane or in a hotel room and do full marker renderings with an undo button, which is fantastic, it's great. So it kind of keeps that going, and it allows some of those ideas out.
In the 3D
I was going to ask you about that.
You don't have to scratch build anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, see, the 3D modeling is a curse and a blessing. So I love the fact that I can 3D model. The problem with that is now no kit part is ever okay. Like, it's gotten to the point like that Manx I built, like I had seats in it. The seats were fine. but they weren't the exact type of seat that I would like, with the hollow headrest and with, this type of adjust. And I have the ability to model it, and I have a 3D printer. So I'm like, well, I guess we got to do this now. So it's taken like the projects that are stalled and kind of stalled them more, but progressed them further. So, but yeah, I know I did notice that nothing's ever like, oh, that kit part will work. It's like, no, we're going to make the right part.
Less and less kit parts now.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about the Manx until you mentioned it.
Oh.
That's another crazy thing that you built. You got to tell us a story about.
Yeah, I got that one too. Here, we'll get them all out. I think the only thing else I have here is that motorcycle I built.
This one, I think, this is a more recent build. Was Columbus, the BSAC show, the first that you'd debuted?
That's the last thing you built, right?
No, that one. Well, the truck was, but yeah, this started in 2019, and then very quickly got put on the project shelf for a while. And this was an idea actually on the way back from NNL East that I had in the car. It was, at the time it was the RWB Porsches were really big at SEMA and everything. And I said, what would be really cool is to take a Manx and do that RWB look to it. Big fat fenders. I did the Porsche engine with the twin turbos in the back. And then I kind of got inspired by the Singer Porsches. So it kind of took a switch, and now it's more of a Singer Porsche feel, but a Manx. I got the exposed shift mechanism in there. Those are the seats I was talking about. So I had to have the correct seats. I did, matching luggage. It's got a full carbon fiber underbelly, carbon Kevlar. But yeah, so this is, it is the old, AMT, MPC, Elvis Presley Manx. But it's also a Porsche, to me, a Porsche 959. So I took the Porsche 959 and shortened it to the correct wheelbase of the Manx, and then sunk the Manx body into a roofless 959. And that's where the chassis is just a shortened version of the Tamiya 959 chassis. The engine, that's what that's from. The turbochargers are all 3D modeled by me. And of course the pulleys and everything else. And then that's the 3D printer is so nice because I'm able to do my own logoed grills. And like the rear vent back here, it says Manx on it. And I did my own honeycomb pattern that I carried throughout the build and try to keep things similar like you do with a production car design. Which again, this is more of a design project that happened to also be a model car.
Would you drive it?
Oh, I would definitely drive it. I want to build a real one. I'd love to build a real one. But yeah, so the Manx logo on the side, if you could see that. I also took that and used that in the grills. And then it also, I made a repeating pattern that it's in the seat belts and the belts up here on the that hold the luggage in there. I got to remove a cat. 1 second. Leo.
And when you see it in person, you say, of course it says Manx on the seatbelt.
I like the way he casually said, I sunk a Myers Manx body into a Porsche 959. Like that's a routine thing that we all would be doing.
It's kind of, there's still some of it because at East we had it sitting next to another one, but like this body line right here is still that's from the original, the Manx kit. It was yellow. And then this little lump right here by that's from the Manx kit, but everything else is kind of just sculpted. But yeah, that one was a fun.
Did you machine those wheels too?
No, those are
wheels too, or
scale production. And they're really nice. They have a pewter center, so you're able to paint them matte black, and then use some sandpaper and clean off the actual detail on the centers. And they have a turned aluminum rim. I did 3D print the tires because I didn't like the size of the tires that were kind of scale production had with them for this vehicle.
Yeah, that thing's insane. Another insane build.
Yeah, the headlights are actually, those are scale production also, and they were like 5 pieces. They were really, really neat. So they had the projector and the surround around the projector, and then the lens, and it was a good time. But
crazy. You also said you had a motorcycle.
So do you remember the Bronco that I started on? That's like 8 Broncos put together to make a
Yeah,
lengthened
I was
car
going to
hauler
ask about
Bronco.
the Bronco, but
Yeah. I don't have the Bronco, but I do have the motorcycle, which was the payload for the Bronco custom. So I took the Revell Bronco and spliced 3 bodies together to make it kind of a normal length vehicle instead of this little short Bronco. And then I did fender skirts on it, and I turned it into kind of a lead sled. It's got a 55 Ford truck grill in it. It's not finished, but it has a ramp going up the back. The Continental kit tire folds down, and it's a ramp to go up. And then I made a motorcycle of my own design to put in the back. So I got the motorcycle done, but I never got the Bronco done yet. This one's going to be real fun to try to see on the camera.
I'm just waiting for him to actually bring a cup of yogurt up with him.
Gee. It's sick.
so is that just all scratch built?
So this is
100%?
Shapeways 3D printed. So I did Shapeways back in the day. I designed my own frame and fork, and I had and tanks, and Shapeways printed all that for me. And then the seat is ridiculous, and it's actually a laced floating seat with laces and yeah, and little there's little grommets around where each of those go. And the Bronco has the same seats, and this is Ford 73 Ford wintergreen color, which tied into the Bronco because I was going to paint it, the chassis of it also the same color. But the only parts I got the tires from a diecast motorcycle that I found at like the dollar store or something that was 1/24 scale. The wheels are model airplane photo etched spokes, and I turned my own on the lathe. I turned my own rims. The engine's the Ford 4-cylinder, the Banger 4, which they did make aluminum ones of these, which would be kind of cool if this was real. So yeah, and it's got fuel injection and spark plugs and a fin valve cover and a little tiny spring and all that good stuff, and a bent radiator that you can actually see through, which was kind of a fun little challenge that I challenged myself on. But yeah, so that's the payload that's going to go in that Bronco, which I think there's pictures of that up on my Instagram. My goal is probably to get it done. I keep saying that, but I'd really like to finish it because it is a pretty unique vehicle. And I would say it's probably going to be the most detailed thing I've done yet. Because there's like no place to hide anything. It's open inside and out and up and down and sideways. So it's there's no pockets to hide anything ugly. It's going to be fun to finish it up. So
It takes an amazing amount of vision, I think, to be able to see what these things are going to look like in your head and build from at the level you're building at, and have them come out like so that things work together. Because they easily go astray. You can the crazy combinations of things that you're putting together don't seem like they would ever work together. But then when you get a completed model, you're like, yeah, that totally all makes sense. But on paper, it doesn't seem like it would. And I can appreciate the level of vision and creativity that you have, that you're able to pull that all together.
Well, thank you. It's fun to push the envelope. Yeah. Oh yeah. And they all
as they go.
Yeah. I was trying to find. Let me see. So that the whole Bronco lead sled idea came from just the rear fender shape. When the fenders aren't cut out, it looks like an old cruiser skirt. The shape. And I saw that, and I'm like, if I extended that, that's going to look like an old cruiser skirts from like a 55 Mercury or something. And literally my whole concept came from that, and just trying to take that shape and mess it up a lot.
And how many kits did it take, you said?
Oh, I don't know. Right now sitting here, I can see 6 that I still have, and I'm sure all of them are missing at least a part. But
That's amazing.
It was right when this kit came out, so that's when I started building it. So it's been a hot minute. 2016. So
it seems like you've mastered like every model making technique. I'm wondering, are there any that you struggle with?
I don't like glass. I hate glass and panel lines. I am not a panel line guy. Like, I've like the Manx doesn't have any like door gaps on it because I just get scared. And I think that Model A, everybody was critiquing that when I did that Streamliner, I should have put like a sculpted door opening or anything. And I'm like, no, that's good. We'll just leave the square doors on it. It's fine. Because I don't want to. So those are my two. I glass I'm getting better at. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of scribing lines.
And it seems like painting. You've got the painting. You've mastered painting.
I enjoy painting a lot, and I like. There was a short time I was trying to be an airbrush T-shirt guy. So like it's like brings back that like I remember it's a couple. And I bought my first airbrush. And I'd sit out under the tree when I was like 16 and like airbrush jeans and T-shirts and try to make cool designs and stuff. And it brings it back for some reason. But yeah, I do enjoy airbrushing a lot. So,
Larry, were you ever artistic, or do you ever apply your artistic creativity in a career?
I was in
path?
My career was lithography. I was what they used to call a image assembler for negatives and everything. There was nothing. There was no close enough in that business. Everything had to be, within 3,000ths of in your hand cutting stuff and outlining photographs with brushes and stuff. So that's where it all came. That was I did that for 36 years and until the computers started coming in, and then computers could do what those old guys were doing for a lot less money an hour. So yeah, that was. I did photography for a while, that kind of stuff too. And it's just, I think that's
probably
like his mom is, she was a commercial artist and
Okay.
that's why he came out like he did, I think.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the dots.
Yeah.
I don't know how he couldn't have not with the sort of parents that Eric had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, that has a lot to do with the meticulous stuff and pushing the envelope. And I used to be able to push the envelope a little bit better. My eyes are starting to go, so I'm gonna have to. My up close was always incredibly good, and the last couple of years my doctor said it was coming, so I have cheater glasses now, so I'm getting ready.
That's amazing. What? I'm starting to run out of questions.
I'd say, Larry, let's ask you the same question there. What's your favorite and least favorite part of building?
My least favorite, I haven't done any much building lately, for one thing. And like I said, been working on the full-scale cars. But probably, I agree with glass. I'm terrible with an airbrush. He can... I don't care what it is. I can't paint a Hot Wheels with an airbrush. I mean, you give me a little touch-up gun and I can paint about anything, but airbrush stuff, basically. I'm not. I've tried. He's got me fancy airbrushes, cheap airbrushes, and I just bring it to him and say, "Here, airbrushes."
You got to use it like a brush, not a paint can. Yeah, well, that's what somebody told me, and it seemed to click with me, but I don't know. I thought that was a good lesson. You don't have to. You can kind of.
I know you keep telling me.
I tried. I don't know. It's hard to translate that too. So.
And well, he's got lathes and printers, and he's printed some stuff for me. But most everything I do it, the old-fashioned way. Just carving it out of a piece of styrene, and I like that. I like creating stuff that it was just a piece of styrene that becomes a bumper for an HO car or something. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm big on if you only have to make one of them, scratch build it yourself. because by the time you 3D model it and print it and deal with all that, it ain't worth it. But if you're going to do 4 or 2 of something and they got to be the same, it's worth it. It makes sense. So that's kind of my rule. It runs in the back of my head because I still like that. I still love whittling and doing handwork and making something out of a sheet of styrene is still really fun. But.
What CAD model software are you using?
I am using Form Z, which is based out of Columbus, and I jokingly said, and I've said this a couple times, is I'm probably the only person that does 3D modeling that's been using the same program for like 35 years. They taught it in school. I caught onto it really quick. I became a tutor. I tutored people in school. I got hired at a place that uses it, and it's budget conscious, and it does plenty fine for the renderings and stuff I need to create. We just never changed. And it's really nice that I can do model car parts, tiny small scale parts, but I also do 100 by 80 trade show booths in the same software and produce really nice images out of it. And you can always export it in to do animations and stuff like that. So that's, and then for like detailing stuff, like all I do with my scrapbook cutter and stuff, it's all Illustrator. I don't know how to use AutoCAD. I'm just an Illustrator guy. I do my detail drawings for work in Illustrator because visual makes more sense to me. So.
And did you finally end up getting another 3D printer for home, or are you using it?
No,
how are you doing your 3D printing?
I'm still using the one at work. We did. Dad and I purchased an FDM, Elegoo FDM printer, and then we also purchased one of those at work. So I've been doing some projects at work. We did a big project a couple years ago to replicate scale guardrail at work for inside a trade show booth. So there's 2 different types of guardrail. We made them in 8-inch sections, glued them all together, and as we did 1/10 scale guardrail, and it's the ends, the crush ends, and how they bend and spool a guardrail each way in and out of traffic. And I know way too much about guardrail because we had to dissect it and remodel it. But we bought a printer at work to do that, and it was fantastic. I consulted with James a little bit about it. It's an Elegoo, and it was perfect, but it doesn't really, I don't know what else we're going to do with it at a trade show shop. So I'm probably going to end up purchasing it from work and bringing it home, or it's just at work. And when I need to print something, I buy my own resin and I print it, and, all's good. So, but no, I have an old Anycubic mono over here from probably pre-2020.
I think that's a 4K. Yeah.
Yeah. And it has resin sitting in it from pre-2020. And I haven't looked at it in a long time. But
it's still good. Just mix it up.
Yeah, it might be fine. I think it expired in 2022. So
I want to talk kit stash for a little bit. How big is your kit stash? Are you one of those guys that has 1,000 kits in the backlog, or do you
say they're all missing one piece?
Yep. Yeah. When I first started this in 2015, I made a joke with my buddy Andy that I would never pay more than $5 for a kit. So I was buying all the parts kit because I only use 2 parts out of them anyway. So whatever. So if it had a decent body and glass, I could build whatever I needed to. I've recently gotten more, but I don't have a huge stash. And to James's point, they're mostly missing pieces here and there. I could never sell my kits to anyone as complete, I don't think, because alternators are missing, or one wiper arm, or who knows what I stole. So. You've got a pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah. I have more than I'm going to be able to build. I'm not going to live long enough to build everything I have. That's for sure. Because I'm averaging about 1 kit a year now, or 1 model a year. So, but yeah, I got a bunch of large scale stuff. I keep thinking that when I get older, I can be able to do the large scale stuff easier. But I don't know.
What new kits have come out recently that have gotten you kind of excited?
Cats are into stuff. Sorry.
What's that? Eric was making noise.
That's okay. What new kits have come out recently that have gotten you guys kind of excited? That's on your short list to build.
I got a 60 wagon. Yeah, I got the 60 Chevy wagon. I definitely want to build that. I'm trying to think.
Stock,
I did buy it.
Right? Box stock?
Yeah, I bought the 620.
Stock, yeah.
Yeah, right. I did buy one of the 620 trucks, but I feel kind of, I don't think I'm totally responsible for that, but I kind of introduced round 2 with Peter and Gail at BRE, and then that kit came out shortly after. So I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but I'd like to think I had something to do with it. So I had to get one of those kits for fun. But I don't think I'm going to build that. That's just a collector kit. I don't know. My most recent crazy idea is I want to do a 49 Merc, like a traditional custom, but I want to do it on the mid-engine Ford GT40 chassis. So I want to do a pro touring custom 49 Merc, and I want to take all the little aero bits that they do on customs, like the little vents on the hood and like the 53 Buick side trim. I want to bring the sides of the body in and make that air intakes and like keep all that stuff. So from a distance, it looks like a 49 Merc custom, like traditional custom, but it's got big, wide, fat tires on it, and that kind of stuff with active aero, and so that's been going on. So I've been collecting kits to start that project, even though I haven't finished anything else. But it would be
Very cool.
it sounds up my alley for some reason.
Well, that does sound like up your alley. Have you got a plan for the 60 wagon yet?
No. Other than crazy doing some wild paint, it's a good canvas to do some wild paint and stuff. I did have a little inkling of an idea of making it into a hardtop, but it would require scribing door lines, and I'm not, I just moving the door line back and kind of bring the hardtop back. So that's deterring me from that. But
door lines are your Achilles heel.
Yeah, if it's got door lines, I'm out.
There's a line we won't cross. It's got door lines. Can't be built.
It's a bird and cat episode.
Eric introduced me to AI. So we were at a model club meeting, and I brought my Ferrari 296, and he says, "Hey, look at this, James. You can have AI make a background." And so then I took my Ferrari 296 and I put it on a racetrack in the rain, and so I'm like, "Oh, this AI is pretty cool." And Eric's like, "Be careful though, it's addicting."
Yeah, tell us about. I've seen you recently posted some pictures of your Manx that you've done with AI. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and that was just fun. I mean, we've been using it a little bit from work, just for idea generation. So, if you're getting stuck on something and you want to see something that, is not what's in your head, I kind of been throwing stuff in it. And we had extra credits left over that were going to expire the next day. And, our graphic designer and I was like, "Hey, here's some pictures of this Manx, see what you can do with it." And he did a really cool video of it driving down the road and then, turn it into a parking lot. And then the doors open, which it doesn't have doors. And the one guy splits in half. And I mean, it was buggy, but it was still cool. And I was able to cut it up enough to get it. And then, so that got me thinking about I took the finished images I did of the car and just tossed them into AI and say, put this in a Myers Manx dealership and put some people in it for scale indicators. And the photos it came up with were fantastic. And I mean, it came up with taglines, and I had to do a full brochure, like it was an actual like next generation Manx, and it was just neat. It was a lot of fun to play around with. But I love it for idea generation more than anything. When you get lost, and if you this is a total cheat code, but if you just want to build a box stock kit and you don't know what color to make it, just say like, "I want to see a Renault R5 turbo in Laguna Seca blue with white wheels." And in 5 seconds, you have a picture of what that kind of looks like. It's not perfect, but it's enough to get the ideas cooking in your head. So,
yeah. What AI program are you using for that one?
I just use Google Gemini.
Okay.
That's all I've been using at work to do the video stuff. We've been using the ones that are built into Adobe. But Google Gemini seems fine for most stuff, for me at least.
Yeah, that's what I use for some of my stuff.
Yeah.
I've played around a bunch with the different image generators, and I agree, Gemini seems to be the best for image generation, and it's free. So
yeah, it's free. I forget how many images you get free a month or a day. I think it's like 30 a day or something.
It's quite
more than I can. Yeah,
I haven't hit the bottom on it yet. I've been recently. I took some models that I had photographed and just dropped it in there and just like, sweeten them up and put a realistic background in, and it did an amazing job.
Yeah. Yes, Steve Goldman had me take some pictures. He has that camper model he had at that meeting, and I just put him in there and say, like, create a 70s Ford ad with this camper pickup. And I took like 3 views and put it in there, and it did all 3 views. It put them on a ski slope. There was like a ram in the background. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever, It was neat. it's fun for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. It's very addictive. Like I've wasted way too much time exploring what you can make with those kind of things. I like it when they make weird things like you didn't expect. I sort of like the happy accidents and
I forget. I think in the one Manx video, it's just two people in the front seat, but when it stops, the door opens and 3 people get out of the front seat. Like it's like 2 people on top of each other that like are half through a door. And I was like, all right, it's always fun to find those little blurbs.
I was playing around with one, and I was like, oh, just have it do a revolve, and so it started at the front, and when it revolved around, the front was on the back. I was like, yeah, I guess that it didn't know, so took a guess, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I did say that the pickup truck I did for East, I did some like 60s, like I want to do like American Graffiti shots or whatever, and it, no matter what, it would put a bed line in the unibody truck. Like there must be so many trucks with separate beds that it doesn't understand. Like I was like, use this exact image and bed line. Like it always had a separate bed. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, if you want something very specific, you're not going to get it. But if you're open-minded about like, playing roulette, I don't know, let's roll the dice and see what we get. Sometimes it's amazing. Yeah.
Dad found a 69 Mustang ad that he has hanging in his garage, and it has a 69 Mustang coupe like his car, but was it yellow or
it was brown? It
was brown or whatever. And I just like copied it, pasted it, put it in a Google Gemini. I was like, make this car red, and it dead on looks exactly like his car in the ad. Printed it out and hung it on the wall in the garage. It looks great. So it would have taken a couple hours with Photoshop a year ago, so it was kind of cool.
So what are the big projects that you have coming up next, or that you're hoping to get done?
Model car wise, I'd really like to get that Bronco finished. That's high on the list, unless I start some 49 Merc project that I have no business starting. But I'd like to get the Bronco finished. Dad, you got the Ghost, the Gray Ghost car.
I had the Gray Ghost started 10 years ago.
Yeah, the Trans Am GTO or Tempest. Wasn't it?
Tempest.
It looks like
SCCA race car. It
was a Jimmy Flintstone body. Then he was a little confused as to what chassis it went with. He got it at NNL East, and we tried about everything, and I think you finally found something that worked, right?
No, we cut them. I cut the resin body up, and we vacuum formed fender flares.
Yep,
and I put them on the AMT kit.
Yeah, so we made our own body after buying a body. Just seems like par for the course. But other than that, actual car stuff, I want to get my Z out to an autocross, since last year I made 2 passes and grenaded the axle, and I'm like, well, now and I didn't get anything else out last year, so I'm a little itchy to go autocross. Trying to think what else we got going on. I mean, we're finishing up that.
Well, we want to do a couple track days with the 68 car.
Yeah, we want to do it. I'm kind of toying with the idea of putting slicks and making sure my neons together and go run around Nelson Ledges or Mid Ohio with that too, because it's fun. But I think that's it for summer until, I think Charlie from our club asked me today, like, what I'm building. And I'm like, I'm not building anything till like November, the second week of November. Like, I hate that that's
drive cars anymore, right?
Yeah, I'd really like to be able to come down to the basement and do stuff, but it just doesn't. It doesn't happen during this time of the year, unfortunately.
Are you planning to go to SEMA again this year?
Yeah, as long as everything keeps moving smoothly, I think we're going. That's a hike every year. That's about 14 days. So I go out, and not months of work leading up to it, but we usually have 5 to 6 trade show exhibits there, and we go out and set them up. Each one, one day, 2 the next day, 3 the next day. So we're there 4 days, 5 days before the show, and then we tear them down over 3 or 4 days after the show. So it's a 12, 14 days in Vegas, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool. But it's probably the hardest I work all year for 14 days. But it's something.
If you've never been out to SEMA, it is amazing. I've had the luxury to go out there 4 or 5 times. Tell some SEMA stories. what are some things that stick out as like, oh, that was a really cool moment, or I got to meet a really cool person, or I did a really cool thing?
I've got a few of them. So I backstory. I've been going since 2006, but in 2013 I started going every year. So I think I went 2 years before that, and then I've been there every year since 2013. And it's a lot of fun. The Jay Leno, I got to meet Jay Leno. That was really cool. Kind of, and that was just literally admiring like a square body pickup. I walked around the front and I'm like, boy, this thing's really clean. I didn't know the guy next to me was wearing a denim shirt, and it was Jay Leno. And he's, hey, you're Jay Leno, that kind of stuff. Cause it's that kind of like industry show where you don't know who you're going to run into. Jesse Combs was probably one of my favorite interactions. And it was right when she was like hosting the banquet that night and doing a bunch of stuff. And I had a coworker that had done work with her in the past, and she was just walking out, and I was standing next to her, and I said, hey, my coworker wanted to say hi, and you guys did video shoots back in the day. And she goes, oh yeah, come on, walk with me. And literally it was her and her entourage, and we walked out of the hall talking and sharing stories. And at the time I was wearing my North Coast Automotive modeler shirt, and she's like, what's Nickum? And I'm like, oh, it's North Coast Automotive. So you're one of those nerds? I go, yeah, I'm one of those nerds. She goes, that's okay. I'm one of those, and we just, we had a blast just kind of talking and walking. And that was really fun. I did get on an episode of Fast and Loud when they did the green 240Z. I think I was the only one who realized it was a 2+2. Everybody else thought they swapped a Skyline roof onto a Z for some reason, because I don't know if anybody knows. Anyway, so I got a little blurb of me saying something to Richard about, this is the coolest looking 2+2 I've ever seen. And so that's been on Fast and Loud. That was kind of cool. I'm trying to think, what other SEMA stories do I have?
Kindig.
That was Blue Suede Cruise at Norwalk here in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I've been lucky enough to become friends with Bailey and Caden, Dave's son-in-law, or Dave's daughter and son-in-law. And so we were up there for the Blue Suede Cruise. It was right when I got the Z done. And I was kind of struggling with some tuning issues with the car, and I kept running it down the drag strip. And finally, Dad was with me, and we were trying to figure out why this thing would stumble off the line. And this guy in a golf cart pulls out in front of us, and it's Dave Kindig and his son-in-law. And he asked if his son-in-law could go for a ride in the car. So I kicked Dad out.
No. He said, could you get out of the car so my son can get in the car and ride with me? He said, you can get in the golf cart with me and you can ride around with me. And I said, well, that might be, it's just cooler to ride in the Z car. So he stopped every 5 minutes to take somebody's hand and get a picture taken. So yeah. So go ahead.
So I took Caden down the drag strip, and it stumbled like crazy. And then he came back, and I think we did 2 runs down the drag strip, and I was just still fighting stuff. I think, the fastest I've done in that car is a 12 flat at like 125 or something. And the best I could do was like a 14, because it would fall flat on its face and I'm hoping this new computer system that I just put in fixes that, but I haven't had enough time to try it out yet. But so anyway, so we're going through all that, and then they had, I take him back to the camper where they're staying and let him off. And then Dave's daughter, Bailey, comes over, and she goes, are you going to be here doing autocross tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'll be here. And so I came back the next day and picked her up and gave her and him rides in the Z around the autocross course the next day, which was absolute blast. I got a video of her like screaming, sliding around sideways. And so anyway, I've become, I call them friends. They helped us out with some trophies for our show a couple years ago. And every time I go out to SEMA, I get to hang out with the tent sometimes, and they have a little soiree afterwards with a cooler and some beer, and get to go in and, hang out with those guys. And it's been really fun. And like I said, the Z has been such a door opener with those kind of situations. It's just awesome.
You guys have done so many different cool, like real car show automotive things. I'm wondering, for both of you, what's on your bucket list for car events that you haven't done yet?
I'd like to go to the Peterson Museum. I'd like to do that.
You definitely should go that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been there. What's up there? I mean, we got invited this year, but we're just not going to be able to make it, to take the 68 car to Monterey at Laguna Seca, because Peter Brock's the Grand Marshal, and they're going to do parade laps, and Nissan's going to have the 46 car, and it's just cost prohibitive to get that thing out there again and this time of year, which kind of stinks. But I would still love to do that. I'd like to do a lap around Laguna Seca, just even in a parade lap at lunch would be amazing. Trying to think, what else haven't we done? We've done a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
You should definitely do the Peterson. I've been there several different times. And hot tip, it's worth the money to do the basement tour. It's almost double. It's probably more than double your admission. But you take a private tour and they go through, and you go downstairs and they've got, I don't know, a couple hundred cars that, and you can get right up close to them, and there's stories about every one of them. They have such an amazingly diverse collection of cars, and a lot of like everything from, you know, presidential limos from like foreign countries to Boyd hot rods to movie cars to exotics, just like everything in between. So yeah, definitely put that on your bucket list.
Yeah, that's going to be a fly out and go check that out. I think that'd be it'd be worth it. Trying to think what else. I'd love to go to the Moon Eye show in Japan just because I love show rods, and I also would like to go see Gallipan's collection out in California with Dave Shutton, who restores all the old Barris cars. And
right.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times at SEMA, and he just seems like a cool dude. He's a model car fan, real car fan, and he builds all. I'd love my dream job, although I'm sure I don't know what it would pay, but I would love to be his assistant, like restoring old Barris cars and restoring all those because they had what they have now, the Hirohata Merc and all the old Roth cars, and it'd be a dream come true to play with that stuff and kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit and see how some of that was made.
Yeah, I agree. I met with your interest in kind of 60s show customs. That would be a natural fit.
Mm-hmm.
I think your Datsun would be cool at Goodwood too.
That would be fun. Yeah, that would be really cool.
And it can't cost. It's got to be really cheap to ship a car.
Just ship a car overseas. It should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably costs nothing. Anybody's got any connections? You can reach Eric at
shipping old dots into goodwood.com.
Yeah.
Right. Eric, do you get starstruck at all? You said Jay Leno, but other than that, have you ever gotten starstruck by meeting anybody?
A little bit. I mean, I get nervous. I don't know. I sometimes incredibly socially awkward and sometimes not. It's kind of my jam. And that goes, if anybody watching has ever sees me at a show or something, and I just come up and say hi and please talk to me because I probably want to talk to you, but I'm being weird. And I think that we all have that a little bit inside us.
For sure.
And but yeah, no, I mean, I've gotten to meet some really cool people, and especially through the influencer program through SEMA, like Alex Taylor and all the current, automotive people are, my connection with SEMA is the same connection they have. And so that when we get together, it's like this big group party, and like the VIP banquet, the banquet of the VIP, it's like Alex Taylor and Finnegan and these guys just, all sitting on the couch down from you. And it's just really cool. I think the car hobby's weird because my coworkers always say this because I'll go to SEMA and I'll be like, hey, that's Chip Foose. And he's like, what? And I'm like, that's Chip Foose. He's like, nobody knows who that is other than you because you're a car guy. And I'm like, well, it is kind of like our celebrities and other people's celebrities aren't like the same. So it's kind of interesting. It's fun. It's fun in that way, especially rubbing elbows with those guys. And, I enjoy it. And I'm very blessed to be in a position that actually happens. It's very cool. So.
Would we recognize any of the collaborations you did with Chip Foose, or the model building that you did?
No, I didn't do any. What?
Oh, I thought you said you. I'm sorry. I thought you had said early on you were friends with Chip Foose.
Oh no, my automotive design instructor went to school with Chip Foose. They worked together in school. So he kind of
Oh.
at school he kind of took me under his wing. But I will say that the SEMA after party after the banquet is when Gene Winfield was still alive. You like pan the crowd with a cell phone. I have a video somewhere, and it's like Chip Foose, Gene Winfield, Don Garlitz, all these iconic people are all just like sitting around watching a band, and you're kind of in the middle of them, and that was a little bit like, wow, how'd I get here? Like I never in a million years thought I'd be in this situation, So that was pretty cool. I was trying to think who else was there. There were other people too, but industry celebrities, I would call them. But
yeah. Well, now you're one of them too.
I don't know.
That's what I love about you, Eric. You're so modest. Seriously. You're like, oh, Adam Carolla. Yeah, no big deal.
Dad got to drive his 510. It wasn't running, but he got to drive it. So we were staging the cars on Long Beach. I think it was Peter or Gail. Somebody told you to jump in it. And you're like, I'm not going to say no. So he got to steer it into the parking space while we pushed it. But I got to push it. Dad got to steer it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Adam Carolla's got an amazing collection of. Doesn't he have like almost all the Paul Newman cars?
He's got an awful lot of the Paul Newman cars. Yeah. I think almost all of them. I would say
Sharp stuff too.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of the Bob Sharp
Right,
stuff.
the Bob Sharp.
Yeah, he's got, and his car is a true real BRE car. Also, it isn't exactly the car it's liveried at. However you say that. It isn't exactly the car it's portraying, but it is an actual BRE car. That the guy had pictures of it less that maintains it, and he was telling us about the history of it. But it was one of the customer cars that they actually built, and then they had it made into the Bobby Allison car. But it's close enough, and they shared so much parts off those cars at this point. I don't know if anybody, it's a true BRE car. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Have you guys built models of your actual cars?
I physically can't, because my actual cars are never done. And I feel like if I build a model of it, it'd be like putting a fork in it. And it's just like, I can't, because Dad's built models of his cars and then changed the real car and had to go change the model. And I refuse to do that. So that just happened recently. Yeah. I can't do it. So I have a lot of 66 Impala and 240Z models, but I'll never build my own car.
Well, you just got to build multiples. That way you have one, you've documented each stage of its life.
Different generations.
Yeah. I'm with you. I have not built any of the, well, I take that back. I did build a model of the S10 pickup I used to have when I was in college. But other than that, I've collected the kits to build replicas of my real cars, but I've never gotten around to actually doing it. And I think it's because I feel like nobody would care but me.
I have a feeling of like, I've already done this once. I want to build something new. Like that's kind of what goes on in my head. It's like, I see that. It's out in the garage, or I got pictures of what that looks like. Let's make something totally different. You do a lot of replica stuff.
I've got my Suburban.
You've built a lot of your actual
Suburban, my trailer, my first 510 race car. The truck, I built a copy of the 620 truck, and I did a 1/18 scale of my Mustang, but they never made my Mustang's a coupe, not a fastback. Well, nobody ever made not a very good model. Was not very good. The Revell model was bad, but they never did a 1/18 scale. So I got a 1/18 fastback, and I got a 1/18 Shelby convertible, and JB Weldon did them together diecast and made a coupe out of made a copy of my car out of that, and the Oldsmobile, that was
you did the resin Oldsmobile. That was from
talk about scribing lines. I scribed all four doors. So it's not a big deal.
I would have given up on that project. Because it's a four door, the 53. So yeah, we use the kit from the guy Maslin. I can't remember the name of the resin that he did.
Mike Guest.
Okay.
Yeah, Model Car World. Yeah. Anyway, it was one of his resins. He has a 53 Oldsmobile, and you turned it into
53 hardtop. Was made from the 53 Chevy model, which is totally wrong proportions for an Oldsmobile, but it worked out. But I made a 4-door out of that.
And we've never done any of our recent ones. We have talked about doing the BRE cars, like he did the race team, but doing all 3 of them, including our car and the semi and everything in 124 scale, which I think would be really fun. I want to do, scale correct Libra wheels and all that stuff. And the grill on that is always so weird. It looks like it's just stuck on. I want to actually, add some dimension to it. And the good news is if you did that, if you're doing that, you're getting 3 of them at least out of it, maybe 4 if you do the yellow ones. So it'd be worth it to 3D model the grill and make the taillights more realistic. But then I could just hope somebody comes out with a really good 510 kit. So I'm on the fence until that happens. But somebody should, right?
Somebody should. Especially a station wagon.
I'd love to have a station wagon. Bob Downey has been bugging us about, we have the real station wagon, and I've been stocking the red rally car kits, the 4-door kits, and I don't think it would be too hard to make and master a station wagon 510, which would be pretty cool. But then I just hope some kit company comes out with it so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, I would get one of those. A wagon. Yeah. I think the wagon would be, because I'd turn it into an overlanding rig.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
of course you would.
All overland all the time. I like it.
Yeah. I remember, Larry. I remember seeing your Suburban at the NNL East. Did you build that from scratch, or was that a resin kit?
No, that was
Model House.
Yeah, it was mine was a 74 and that was a 78 or something. So I had to do some grill fabricating and making it look like a 74. Plus it had the doors on the back. Mine had a tailgate, so I converted it to tailgate. But that was their resin kit. Then
that's awesome.
Modified, of course. Yeah.
When you built that was in my first round of modeling. So I had to be 13, 14. I mean, that was 93, 94, 95 when that's held up amazingly well. I remember it was back in the day when we were building together in the basement. So you were making that.
We've built a lot of things together.
Yeah, a lot.
Not just car stuff. Bathrooms.
It's true. Guardrails.
We did guardrails together.
We built a lot of stuff.
House stuff.
That's awesome.
Car stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see you guys have a great relationship. I don't think I've ever not seen you together. Every time I've known, and you guys came to my house one time.
Yep.
Anytime I've seen you're both together at always the shows. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, we usually try to, definitely hit the shows, and we spend, especially with all the vehicles and all the projects going on. We spend pretty much every weekend together, off and on, building, doing stuff. My Z's over at his house right now, and you worked on it today while I was at work, and I appreciate that. Trying to get my fuel sender to work, and we got to swap out the new axles came last week while I was out of town. So I really have, I appreciate that, and I appreciate our relationship to be able to do that. So
yeah.
And next weekend we're going to Indy for the Trans Am vintage race, and we're crewing for the same guy that got me into racing. He's got an old Nissan that he races once a year in the vintage stuff.
Yeah, GTU car,
IMSA GTU.
Yeah,
car.
So like a '90s, an S13 body, but wide body, and it actually started out as a 280Z, 280ZX, and it evolved, and I don't know how many 24 hours of Daytona that's been in, but it's been in a lot of them since back in the 90s. And I think Nissan gave him during the contingency times, gave him a Silvia or 200SX S13 body for it, so they adapted it. So it's a tube chassis, but it's got a steel frame, big wide body, and so yeah, he runs that, and it's still got the straight 6 in it from the 280ZX, which is really weird. It's a cool conglomeration of car. But yeah, we just actually helped him put an engine in it, and we're going to go to Indy for that in the Trans Am race.
Trans Am, yeah. Next weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll be crewing and helping out there a little bit with the Trans Am car, more with the vintage car, but it'll be fun.
Super
we'll
cool.
be together.
Yep.
Eric, do you have kids?
I do not. I have 2 cats. If you haven't noticed, they're like kids.
Hadn't paid any attention to them.
No.
They're very subtle. Hardly can tell.
My girlfriend has two daughters. So I have kids by proxy. So
okay.
But
Have you gotten them interested in building models or racing
not
cars?
into models. Some younger nieces and nephews. I think I got a chance with. But no, I keep threatening to take Crystal's one daughter autocrossing. I think it would be a good time to get her behind the wheel. I got a couple more lessons of stick shift driving, and we can get her behind the wheel of the Neon. It's pretty well sorted, and see if she can have slinging around a little bit. I figure it'd be a good experience. So.
Yeah, I had 3 kids and failed miserably at getting any of them interested in anything with wheels. So always like, yeah. I've warned them all they owe me a grandchild that likes cars, because I sat through so many soccer games and softball games, but
I always get the reaction when they come down here into the shop or whatever. It's like, wow, this is so cool. Look at all this neat stuff. I'm like, hey, you want to do something? No, I'm good. I'm like, okay, fine. All right, I've had that a couple times, so I was like, a little disappointing.
My son,
real stuff.
My son comes downstairs and like, you got a lot of unbuilt cars. I'm like, yeah. You want to build one? No. Well, back upstairs.
Yep, exactly.
Surplus.
Just a couple months ago, my son was here in town, and I had an empty display case, and I said, Alex, pick 8 cars from my collection that you want for yourself. He's like, really? So he picked his favorite 8 cars and he hung them up at his house. So eventually all of these will be at his house, but
that's awesome.
It was fun. He appreciates it, and he remembers me building when he was a young kid. And
he's a car guy though, right? Yeah. He's through and through car guy. So
yeah, he's still playing with that Challenger.
That's good.
Larry and Eric, if we could give you a magic wand, what all new kit would you like to see produced, and why?
Oh, geez.
I mean, the aforementioned Datsun 510 wagon
would be mine.
Yeah. I think
list.
that'd be a good kit. I think it'd sell well. I'd like to see what people would do with it. I think that would be fun. I think that would be a pretty interesting kit. I'm trying to think if there's another one, since there's 2 of us, but I'm a big 73 Riviera guy. I'd love to see a boat tail Riviera kit.
I would too. Yeah.
I know the old model house ones had some weird funky proportion issues. The 3D ones are a little bit better, but I'd just love to have a box kit of that, because they could be a lot of fun to play with.
You wouldn't build it stock anyways.
No, I definitely would not. I would not build it stock at all.
Turn into a road racing car.
Yeah. Be a flared Trans Am car.
Right. Boat-tailed IMSA.
That's what I would do with it. I don't know what you would do.
I'd turn it into a physical boat.
You'd wedge it.
Make it into a boat.
With a double top on it or something.
An actual boat.
The boat. Don't worry about a boat top. We'll flip it upside down. There you go. You do some cool stuff.
And it's a gasser.
Yep. I do like building gasser models. As a non-drag, I know zip about drag racing, and it's just fun to, I don't know, there's something simple and raw, and they look sketchy. Like if those street freak things I do, they just look unsafe just seeing them on a table. Like it's something about that's cool.
Yeah,
Gremlin,
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, I did a Gremlin and a Pinto.
I forgot about the Gremlin.
Yeah, that's a series of models in my head. So I have a Gremlin, a Pinto, a Vega, and then also I was doing that Pacer it was like a wheel stander, 60s wheel stander with a pink clear floor, and the engine was in the back, and I started it.
I forgot about that one.
It almost got finished instead of the Manx, but I pulled out the box and I was nowhere near as far along as I thought I was, and it went right back in the box and went back on the shelf. But I had a lot of fabrication done, but not enough.
The Gremlin. So I do remember now. You did a Gremlin gasser,
Yeah.
And didn't it have like a fingerprint sort of style paint job?
Yeah, it was a two-tone fingernail polish. It was before, it was like a three-tone fingernail polish actually. Because it's bright green with purple on the sides and then the fingerprint. Then I did the Pinto, which was baby blue with blue metal flake with the fog around the outside of that, with blue windows, with the camera 429 camera blown engine in it. That one I just wanted to see if I could produce a clear acrylic hood scoop that you could still see into the carburetors. So that was literally the sole purpose of building that model. I got a lot of those.
Like the stitch seat, on your 29.
Yep. Yeah. The 29 was cool. That was also like a first thing into 3D printing because I built that in 2016, 2017. But those, like the fender pods, I 3D printed them on an FDM printer and then vacuum formed them, and they're all four the same. And then I had a front side, back side, and molded them together. And that was pretty cool. That was when I think I finally realized what I can use the FDM printer for, was like making patterns and molds and
Do you do
idea. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you do vacuum forming too? Do you have access to any of that equipment?
Yeah, I got a little dental vacuum forming. We did in school and prototyping. We did a ton of vacuum forming, so I like it. I like the idea of it. And in fact, we had an exercise one day that you just had to like vacuum form some object in the classroom and then turn it into a product, cut little pieces off of it and mold it together. And so that kind of thinking is fun. I like to, I use pill bottles and vacuum form the end of them to make wheel tubs. I've done, a lot of weird little vacuum form stuff. But what I realized with the FDM printer is you got rid of your grow lines if you used like 30,000 styrene. You didn't have to smooth it perfectly. So you could just make an inside, like actually making body part molds, and it would smooth it out real nice for you. And it worked out pretty well. Yeah.
I had problems with vacuum forming that I don't know how long to heat it up. Do you have to wait until it droops, or does it just till it's wavy? At what point is it ready to pull down?
I usually do, if I remember correctly, it's been a hot minute. But I usually do until it's got a pretty good droop to it. And then pull it down. So it goes like 70% over what you're doing, and then you hit the vacuum switch and it pulls it down really nice.
Okay.
I did realize doing this gasser stuff, if you ever try it, is the color clear. So like the red, the evergreen that you can get the clear acetate or styrene. If you heat that up to vacuum form it loses its color instantly. So hot tip, if anybody's ever going to try to do that, it doesn't work. So I got a bunch of sheets of it over here that they end up being records, I think, in that 63. But it loses its color really quick. But I haven't had any since college, and I used really, really thick stuff on a really, really big vacuum former. I haven't had a whole lot of luck doing clear, but I also haven't tried really hard. But I know a lot of people struggle getting a nice piece of clear.
Yeah, every model that I print needs windows, so that's the hard one.
That's the bane of Mr. Tester's existence.
It is.
Have you tried urethane clearing your vacuum form if it has any funkiness in it?
No.
That's how I got rid of, like, my thesis prototype model was this big, like 1/6 scale 3-wheeled car. It had I sculpted it out of clay and then pulled molds off of it and laid fiberglass in it and put it back together, cut the top off of it, and then vacuum formed a buck to make the top. And it came out kind of, and I ended up just hitting it with a heavy, heavy coat of urethane clear and buffing it out. And it's pretty good. It's not,
So the heat from the plastic won't melt that clear?
Oh no, after you're done.
Oh, okay.
So if you end up with like a subpar, something you're not crazy, and if you're spraying some urethane clear, just try it. I'm curious to see what it would look like. That was our fix. Remember, because I boogered this thing up like 3 or 4 times, and finally I just dumped urethane clear on it and buffed it out, and it it was very nice and clear, and it still to this day looks good. And that's been 25 years ago. So,
Okay.
Something to think about.
I thought you meant to put the clear on the buck, and then
no. Yeah,
okay.
I've heard, but I mean, I just know whatever you do to vacuum farm it has to be like perfect. It can't have dust on it. It can't have a single sand scratch. It's all going to show.
Right.
But what I was thinking, with the urethane, it seemed like it would go into those and self level a little bit over those sand scratches and stuff and give you a pretty decent clear material. But I haven't tried it yet. I was just wondering if you had.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll have to make a video.
Yeah, maybe. if it works, you take full credit because I don't know. I know that's how I fixed the Dodge Neon headlights. I had foggy headlights, and urethane clear fixes it. So
at the model shop I used to work at, so we would take, we were often hired to do sort of samples of what would look like a glass candy dish or something, but they were actually, we would cast resin, like clear cast resin. And I know one of the tricks that they did was they actually dipped it in urethane.
Yeah.
And just like soaked it and then, let it kind of run off and drip off. And it would fill in all the little imperfections and, just be super. But they didn't have it, obviously they weren't small scale, so they didn't care about scale thickness. We weren't that concerned about it, but yeah. But I think it's the same idea. You're basically hose on enough to it. It's going to fill in any kind of surface imperfections, and then you can kind of polish that out.
Can you bend it afterwards though?
Oh, I forgot you use a lot of those flat
for like my spiker, how the window loops all the way around the side of the car.
I would think within reason. I don't know. You'd have to. It's one of those things you have to try it out. I mean, next time you're clearing a body, try it and see. But I would think it's like like Sean's talking about. It's almost the same thought of like how we used to use Future, but a more stable, hardening Future.
Right. Okay.
Floor polish. Yeah.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, we're at our 2-hour mark here. I would love to talk to you guys all night.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having us on. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'm just waiting for so this is Eric Ritz's credit or fault that this didn't work. We're all sitting around waiting for that video to come out. So out the door, we always asked this question, and I think we've probably maybe got the answer already, but we'll ask it anyway. Your Opus Magnum built, so it's your lifetime achievement. Eric, you've gotten a whole bunch of NNL East awards as it is, so I'm not sure there's a next level to it anyway, but we'll go with it anyway. Is there some sort of model or maybe series of models that you would want to build that would sort of be, and this goes for you too, Larry, that is a statement of like, this was me as a model builder. This is, if you look back at X project, that's Eric, that's Larry's, in a build, if it were.
I don't know. It changes so often. Every time I get a new idea, it becomes, there's a cat. There'll be a next, every time I come up with an idea, it's like the next hot thing. So, right now, I think that 49 Mercury idea would be really cool because I don't think anybody else is doing anything like that. I was enamored with that. Rob Ida built that 40 Mercury a few years ago. It had the full underpin and it looked like it was like made of aircraft stuff. So if I could build one of those, I would love to build something like that. And probably the NNL East, if I could get another best of show at NNL East, that'd be pretty cool. That's one of the bigger ones, 2,000 or 3,000 models on the table to be recognized like that was pretty impressive. So what do you think? What do you want to BRE hauler in 124 scale?
That'd be cool.
If we didn't have to house it anywhere or carry it anywhere.
Transport that to one show and then it never leaves the house again.
Leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to build your Mustang. You have, I mean, in 125th scale.
Well, that'd be nice if somebody came out with a real nice coupe kit that really was in proportions. But I'm still going to try to build one myself out of pieces, I think.
I for me, I'd like to see you build my Z with an accurate roll cage, and I got a 3D print in LS, and
Well,
but in large scale. Like
I have a large.
I know, but yeah,
I've been waiting for an LS engine.
I can't do large scale. I'd end up putting brake lines and brake fittings, and I might as well just build a whole new real car.
If you don't hurry up, James is going to end up with those kits.
I know. We're going to a model meeting.
I'm going to give him those two 240.
Well, then I'll want James to build my car for me.
Oh, that's okay. But you still got to supply the LS. Well, he can get the LS.
Yeah, we could figure it out.
I can get the engine from James. Can get me an engine.
I'll print you an LS.
Yeah, 1/16 scale LS. Yeah.
I thought those are
12
scale.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll have to do something to get some more pictures of our stuff and maybe do a tour or something. I'd love to do that with you guys. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys.
Yeah.
It was
thank you
a
guys
fun
for
chat,
asking.
and definitely go check out Eric's Instagram if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Dad's at PL510 also, so feel free to check that out too. It's got links to me, so we can bounce both directions there.
There you go.
All right. So, everybody, I'd like to thank you for joining us on another episode. Again, a reminder, Eric's Instagram is linked in the description of the video, no matter whose channel you're watching on, because the same description goes out on both channels. Thank you guys both for coming on tonight and agreeing to be here. It's very cool to have father, son, and or just two people on in general at the same time. It's been fun. Sean, thanks for sitting outside in the dark here to fight with your internet thing.
Slowly sunk into there.
Yeah, say and don't forget Eric's cat's on in the next episode, right? So
go right there. Yeah.
So everybody, appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.